Hi, today we will learn how to paint snowflakes. Here are some pictures for you to have a reference. Take a picture, especially this one, we're going to use that. So here's a material list. See the video description for links. And here's our workspace setup. Now, step 1, we're going to pencil in the snowflakes. So I chose 3 different shapes from the reference photo, and I'm just referring to them as I pencil them in. I like to show depth in my painting, so that's why I chose to draw a big one in the front and 2 smaller ones in the back. Now we will prepare our paper. I wetted the back side of the paper, then I'm doing the same thing to the front. This will allow us to do wet on wet technique. So now we're going to use this reference photo and we will apply the first layer of the background. So I want to show lights. So I'm not going to paint the entire page. I'm just going to allow some white space in between the colors. And I have chosen blue and purple. And then I have chosen some neutral tones like brown with a little red and black, just to show variation because, light will change the colors around. Okay, so see how I'm letting the color blend, and this is while the paper is still very wet. Once the paper dry, the color will blend beautifully. And remember, watercolors always dry lighter than they appear to be when you first applied them. So I am lifting the colors from this spot right now because I realize I really want that part to be more bright so that it shows light coming through. Okay, and you can choose different colors of backgrounds that you like, but make sure they will blend well together. For example, blue and purple, they are on the color wheel on the same quadrant, so they will go well together. They are not going to be too contrasting, okay? And to me, they have a feeling of a winter. So these are the colors I like to stick to when I'm painting winter scenes. Sometimes I use a very light wash to paint snow with these colors. Okay, so I'm just using very lightly watered brush to kind of blend the colors a little and lifting some colors from the darker spot. And now I'm going to darken some areas. So you see I have blended blue, purple, and black, and that created this darker hue. Okay, you're supposed to mix the colors on the palette to get the colors that you like, but I feel this painting you can play a little bit, but it's always good to try them out first on a piece of paper. This is probably my 5th try while painting this. Alright, so let's let it dry. I use a blow dryer to speed up the process. It's very important that you make sure it's really dry. Now we're going to use the masking liquid pen to trace out the snowflakes that we have penciled in earlier. Okay, so this masking pen, you need to make sure that to test it out on the scratch paper first so that it doesn't ruin your painting. Okay, I press the tip down and allow the fluid to come out. Once it comes out, then it's activated, then you can start tracing. So the masking fluid will protect the spot that you trace, and so later on when we paint our second layer of background colors, the paint will not go through the masking area. That will create a highlighted space with your snowflakes. Okay, and snowflakes are transparent, so that's why I did the first layer first. That way these snowflakes will also have some colors. Okay, after we blow dry them, make sure it's super dry. Okay, we're gonna do wet on wet technique. So first we're going to apply a layer of water, clean water, on your painting. See my brush stroke, I'm going with the strokes that I had before with that direction, because sometimes when you apply the second layer of water, some paint may come off. As you can see here, some paint did come off, but if you go with the same direction that you did before, then it's not that noticeable. Alright, now it's pretty wet. I'm just making sure the water is spread out evenly and it's not puddled anywhere. Now I'm going to go back in to the areas where I painted before and darken the color. Okay, and I will also apply some color to the snowflake area, so that later on when we take out the masking fluid, the snowflake is visible. Alright, so that's what I'm doing now. So I'm sticking with blue on the parts that has blue, and then I will do more purple where it was purple before, just intensifying each color. And did you know that snowflakes, there are no two snowflakes alike, even though they may look similar, but in the microscope you can see that there are no two snowflakes alike. That's because their formation has to do with humidity, the temperature, and even light at the time. Okay, and I just thought that's so amazing, because if you have seen snow, you will see like maybe more than quadrillions or bazillion snow falling down at the same time, and to think that there's no one snowflake alike, that is just unfathomable. So I just thought, God created us to be like that too. There are many of us. We may have similarities like the snowflakes, but we are all very uniquely made. Alright, now we're going to sprinkle some salt while the painting is still wet. This will create some textures, as the salt will absorb the pigment, the moisture on the paper, and therefore absorb pigment from the background. And now we're going to make sure it's really dry. I sped it up on the video, but you probably have to dry it for quite a while. So it took me maybe a couple minutes. Okay, and you have to touch it, make sure it's dry before you do this part. Okay, now I am using my finger to rub off the masking fluid. It took me a long time and a lot of elbow grease, and you want to be careful when you're erasing. I also used the eraser because my finger got sore. But once you carefully remove all the masking fluid, you will see how beautiful they are. Now, here is your snowflakes. Remember, you are created uniquely and you are wonderfully made. God loves you.